guys, wanted to let me make sure that we are recording. I think we are. Yes, perfect. We are. Usually it says a really loud voice that says you are now recording, but I did not hear that today. So you guys, I emailed out to you guys all yesterday, and if you didn't see the email yet, I'll show it to you real quick. But I sent you an email that has two awesome tools that we like to use quite a bit in our business. I encourage people to use these tools at least probably about 8 times a year is a good number. If you do it once a month, that's 12 times a year. But those two tools, guys, are the Back to Basics checklist that you guys have all seen. That's something I believe we get exposed to in Sales Academy. And then the second tool we'll talk about here in a minute is the Income Needs Worksheet. And we'll discuss both here in just a minute. If I can get that. Yeah, there we go. Get the Excel file all spread out and open. So, guys, the first thing I want to jump in with you, and the crux of what I talked about is the Back to Basics checklist. When things, I found out, I've been doing this for 19 years, and I found out that when things are not quite going the exact way that we want them to be going in any part of our lives, it could be our personal lives, it could be in our relationships, it might be in our spiritual lives, it could be in our physical health, and it may be in business. But if something's not going the way that we want it to be going, it's always because of one of three things, or is a little bit out of kilter. Can anybody guess what those three things are?
Habits, skills, and attitude.
Ken Duggins, my man, has been here a decade plus. You know the deal. It's our habits, our skills, or our attitude. And Ken, by the way, I love the shirt. Glad you got the memo about the mean green today. That's good. But guys, that's exactly right. What Ken said, it's our habits or our skills or our attitude or a combination of those three. Okay. So this Back to Basics checklist, guys, has been custom created that has built into it the key habits, skills, and attitudes that are needed to be successful here. And so I want to challenge everybody here right now. Pull out if ideally you can just print a copy of this up, okay? And what you want to do is you want to write your name on the top and you want to date it. Okay. The reason we do that, guys, is because these are great if you do them on your own. They're even greater if you do them and share them with an accountability partner. That accountability partner may be your direct manager. It may be your agency owner. It may be your spouse or significant other. It could be anyone, or it could be a combination of all those. But you want to share that with somebody. I can't tell you how many of these I've received from people, and it's really great that they sent them to me, but they didn't put their name on them, and so I had no idea who it was from. And the reason you want to date it, guys, is because when you do this exercise 5, 6, 8 times a year, some of you guys will get ambitious and do it once a month. It's nice to go back and look at the dates and see where you have improved since the last time or since 2 times ago that you completed this exercise. I know some of you out there already have a dozen of these from the past couple years that you have saved in a notebook, and you're able to go back and see where you're making improvements. Guys, that's key, is to always be getting better. And the only way we know if we're getting better is when we do exercises like this and we track it. We can also see that we're getting better in our results and in our quality of life. But this is a really simple way to write it down and know exactly where you're getting better at. So as the most successful people in our business are the individuals that just do these basics I'm going to share with you here most consistently. And again, ideally you print this up and have a piece of paper and you can write the numbers on. If you're not in if you're already out in the field right now and you don't have this written down, that's fine. Just take a piece of paper. Ideally, it's the same notebook you put all your notes for these meetings in and Zoom calls and follow days. So you can get to it, because remember, it's not what we hear that's important, but what we use, and it's important. So, but just take a piece of paper, write 1 through 25, and you can write your numbers on there. When you get home tonight, you can print this up and kind of put your actual numbers on there and the results. But you want to save this. This is your scorecard. Okay. And guys, this tells us exactly where we need to make adjustments. So the people that are the best in this business don't have a bunch of fancy secrets. Okay. They don't have any special behind the back closes. They just do these duplicatable basics in our business on a daily basis, and they do them really, really well. Okay. This is a very simple business, guys. It's very simple. It's not always easy, but it is so uber simple. Okay. So on each of these numbers here, we're going to go through them one by one. Go ahead and score yourselves on these basics from 1 to 4. Okay. Give yourself a 4. A 4 is a perfect score. It means you do it all the time. No questions asked. If you give a 2, you're about 50%. You know, for 3, it's about 75%. 1's about 25% of the time. And if you just don't do it on any consistent basis at all, be real honest and give yourself a 0. Okay. And the key here is to be brutally honest with yourself. If you rate yourself on how you should be doing, you'll give yourself all 4s and you'll make 100, and this will be a complete waste of time. So be really honest with yourself. And then again, I want to encourage you, when we're done with this, take your phone, okay? And in a perfect world, you can use an app like a Turbo Scan, which gives you perfect pictures every time without all the shadows. But regardless, one way or the other, take a picture of it and then text it to that accountability partner and let them know that you like that accountability. Managers, I would encourage you to reach out to all of your agents when we're done with this and just connect with them. There's 16 of us on here right now. So that's a good chunk of us, about half. So just a little spoiler, guys, going into the new year, a certain level of attendance on these is going to be something that's part of receiving monthly bonuses or any sort of bonuses. So glad that you're here. Please, let the secret out if you want to with your partners that they're going to want to start creating that habit of being on these. But guys, yeah, when we get done grading yourself, we're going to add up the scores, and you're going to, just like in school, that 10-point grade scale. If you're in the 90s, you got an A. If you're in the 80s, you got a B. 70s a C. 60s is a D, and below a 60 is a failing grade. And the amazing thing is, some of you guys are going to get a failing grade on this, and you're going to say, "Wow!" Yet I'm still somehow making money. That's right. You don't have to be perfect at all these things. You just got to be decent, and if you just do them, it works, even if you're whether you're performing at the highest level or not. But first one, guys, here we go. We're starting off with the grading. Work at least 8 hours per day, calling on 30 prospects, and we do that 5 days a week. So 5 days a week, you're out in the field 8 hours a day. Okay, you can easily go back into your canvassing charts and figure out how many days a week on average you work 5 days a week. Just take your total number of hours divided by 5, and then you'll know about how many days you're out there more than 8 hours per day. So a minimum of 40 hours a week, guys. That's full-time work. Okay. Again, 1 if you do it 1 or 2 days a week. 2 if you do it half the time. 4 if you do it all the time. Number 2, you have a set start time, and you never start later than that start time. And you also have a set stop time, and you never stop before your stop time. Guys, it is okay to start early. It's okay to work late. It's not okay to start late or stop early, okay? Peter used to use the analogy of the dry cleaner. He showed up at his dry cleaners one time, and he was going to pick up a suit that he was going to wear in a wedding that he was a part of in the coming weekend. And he showed up at 4:45 to pick up his dry cleaners before his 7 o'clock flight. Well, when he got there, they were closed. They had closed early. And not very acceptable. Peter never went, needless to say, Peter never went back to that dry cleaner again. They lost a customer for life because they didn't keep their business hours consistent like people expect them to. We've got to keep our hours consistent too, you guys. Number 3, do at least 6 closing demonstrations each day. At least 6, okay? So pretty basic stuff. If you do 6 a day, you do that 5 days a week, you got yourself 30 demos, and you got yourself one hell of a career, okay? You will protect a lot of families. Even with a very low skill set, you're going to protect a lot of families doing 30 demos a week, 6 a day. Number 4, I use the daily goal cards each day, okay? Do I use my demo goal card to track my demos? If you're not, there's a good chance that you did not answer 4 to the previous one. You probably don't get 6 demos a day super consistently. Using the demo goal card helps us do that. So give yourself a rank 1 to 4 on using your goal card. Number 5, complete and then follow your weekly game plan, or as we call it, your weekly VPF, your vision, plan, and follow through. Okay. It's most effective when it's shared with a team leader. And again, ours now has a weekly business review outline built right into it. So it's a very smooth and very easy conversation to have. We should be having weekly business reviews weekly with our manager, with our team leader. Number 6, use the approaches as they were taught in Sales Academy. Okay. Use the approaches as they were taught in Sales Academy and ask for a place to sit down in every approach. Okay. More sales guys are made in the sitting position than the standing position. So, be aware of your surroundings and look for that spot where you could possibly sit down in that business with that person. Use the demonstration. Number 7, use the demonstration word for word as it was taught in Sales Academy. Okay. Use the demonstration word for word. Guys, you've heard me say often that sales is a Broadway play put on by a psychiatrist. What I mean by that, the Broadway play part is we're not making stuff up as we go along. We know our lines. When a famous actor in Hollywood gets a role in a movie, first thing they're given is a script, and their job is to memorize that script in the coming weeks or months up until they start shooting. Okay, when they start shooting, that actor better know his lines, and if he doesn't, he's not going to be invited back and make $20 million a film anymore, right? So it's important that they know their lines. Guys, it's just as important for us that we know our lines. The psychiatrist part about that Broadway play put on by a psychiatrist is that when you know what you're going to say, it frees your brain up to pay attention to things like body language, nonverbal cues. You're able to read your customer. You know that she is not married and has 2 kids. She's divorced. Okay, I need to be making sure that I'm going to my single mom IRA testimonial, and I've got to be sure that I weave that in there. That's going to be the proverbial nail in the coffin and help us get this one closed. Okay. So the next one, guys, I know it's a shocker, but it's use the close word for word as it's taught in Sales Academy. Okay. Use the close word for word. Okay, guys, while there is a little bit of room in the demonstration to personalize, the close, there's no room to personalize. The close is perfect written the way it is and used as it is. So would certainly encourage you, close word for word. If you are anything but word for word, get back to studying it, record yourself, listen to it, get it word for word because it works. Number 9, close 3 or more times using the responses or rebuttals, as we call them, in every sales present after an objection. So guys, if you are doing just the company averages, if you're doing 30 demonstrations, okay, and you're closing 1 out of 6, like most new people, most rookies do, that's 25 times a week that you have to use the rebuttals or the responses. Guys, if only 10% of the time it works, you will almost double your production. 10% of the times that it works, guys, that'll add another 2.5 clients to the 5 that you're already selling. That increases your production by 50% and your income by 50% and your residual income by 50%. That's taking a person from 50 grand to 75, taking a person from 100 grand to 150 grand. Okay. But using the responses, guys, they work. They don't work every time, but neither does your demo. Right. But we still do it. Okay. The batters last night in the World Series, they don't get a hit every time, but they still come up to bat. Right. They still got to swing the bat. We've still got to use the responses, even though they don't work every single time, because they work enough for it to make a massive difference. Number 11, create the need in the introduction. Okay, create the need in the introduction on the indirect cost page. Okay, the page right after the iceberg, by asking, okay, thinking through your situation, Kyle. Okay, you're single, you're engaged to be married, next May, coming up quick. If you and or your fiance, if you just couldn't work for 6 to 12 months, how would that affect you guys financially?
There would be no wedding.
Okay, that doesn't sound good. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, we would just be we would lose all sources of our incomes and we weren't able to afford the wedding. We would have to downgrade the wedding venue.
Okay. That sounds negative, right? Guys, you have to take a person from when you meet them. They might just be happy, walking along willy-nilly, happy as can be, no problems in the world. Your job is to stop them, shake them up a little bit, ask them some questions that help us perform what's called CPR, right? Where you cut open the wound, you pour in some salt to make it sting, make them realize, oh, I've got a wound, and then you apply the solution to help fix that. Okay, you stop the bleeding. So, number one is helping people understand that they are bleeding. Okay, number 12, after you've found that need, you then fulfill that need by showing how the features, the benefits, okay, showing them how the features, benefits, and advantages fill their personal need for the product. Okay, as an example, you mentioned that your cousin had 100 rounds of chemo and radiation treatment. At $300 a pop, that would have paid him $30,000. Can you see how that $30,000 would have helped your cousin? Can you see how the $30,000 from this one benefit could help your family, God forbid, should that happen with you, Kyle? Absolutely. So number 13, guys, is ask questions throughout your presentation to determine the prospect's interest. Okay, ask questions throughout your presentation to determine the prospect's interest. You guys, keep in mind, the average human has about a 30-second attention span. Okay, if you're talking and talking and talking for over a minute and they have not spoken, they're probably not hanging on your every word. They're probably thinking about things they need to add to their grocery list later on that day, or picking their kids up at school, or getting a whole host of things. People's attention spans are very short. The way you keep their attention is you mention their name. Remember, guys, people's names is the sweetest sound in the world to them. If you find yourself halfway through demos not remembering the name of the person you're talking to, stop trying to remember it and write it down. You've got paper with you, you've got a pad, write down their name so that you can look down and kind of cheat if you have to during your demo, but remember their name, use their name, and ask them questions to bring them back in and make sure that they're with you. Okay. Number 14. All right. Number 14, read 2 to 3 testimonials or IRAs, information release authorization forms, and 2 to 3 eagles, rotating the ones you read each morning. Okay, guys, this is a simple thing to do. Guys, it's also really simple to just not do it. Okay. It's easy just to sit there with your breakfast, your coffee, and just do your normal routine. Guys, it's not very hard once a month to go on the FHL Connect website and pull up all the most recent Eagles and just hit print. It'll print them all up. Got a little stack of Eagles. Go to the IRAs. You can find them by product. You can find them by dollar amount. You can do them by state or by county. Okay. And print up 50, 60, 70 of them and just have a stack. And reading 2 to 3 Eagles, guys, an Eagle takes 2 minutes to read, an IRA takes 30 seconds. So to read 2 or 3 of each, it's a grand total of like 6 or 7 minutes, which it's pretty easy. Peter used to describe that as putting on our armor every day. He said, Van, if you don't put on your armor before you kind of go into the proverbial battle, you start hearing things like, oh, we don't need that. We've got Blue Cross and Blue Shield. You hear that enough, you'll start to believe it. Oh, man. Everyone's got Blue Cross and Blue Shield in my territory. They don't need what I have. And you start to lose faith that they do. By reading these testimonials and reading why people needed it, how thankful they were that they had it, guys, that just reinforces what we do is an amazing thing. What you do is an amazing thing. Number 15, guys, review your goals for the week and why they are important to you at the beginning of each week. Okay. So guys, we go back and go back to the beginning of the quarter. We all created a quarterly VPF. So we have 14 weeks in the quarter, and we have goals, each one. Guys, it doesn't take any time at all each Sunday to pull that document out, look and see, okay, I need to cash flow $1,000 this week. The reason is because the mortgage is due in a week and a half. Okay. So that's my why. I'm going to make that happen this week. And then you simply transcribe that over to your weekly and then break it down by day. Okay. Just keeping that in front of you and reviewing that each day before you get up. Guys, reviewing goals takes 30 seconds. Takes next to no time. It's just one of those habits that is in there. So reviewing your goal for the week and why it's important. Reviewing your goals for the day and why they're important to you each morning before going out to work. That would be number 16. Okay. Just taking a quick glance at that. Okay, this is what I need to get done today. Oh, okay. Yesterday I was right on track. I sold 1,000. So I'm on track to hit my green out. Or had a tough day yesterday. I didn't, I zeroed out on that Monday. I've got my goal is still 5,000, but I've got 4 days to get it in. I better not write 1,000 a day. I better write 1,250. That makes sense to get back on track. Okay. To hit your goal for the week. How many times have we said a slow day or 2 or 3 can't wreck a week, but one solid day can? We need to keep that in mind. Number 17, ask everyone for, and then keep and use neat, organized pre-approach throughout each day. Ask everyone you meet for pre-approach, and then keep that pre-approach in a nice, neat, organized way. Okay, guys, if you're having a tough time figuring out how to keep pre-approach in Sales Rabbit, that's fine. Write it out. Okay, or feel free to use. There's a great tool that we've used over time. We used to use back in the olden days. It was the B2B info sheet. I know most of you guys have seen that. I had it pulled up just a second ago. Here we go. The B2B info sheet's a wonderful little tool that you can just simply take 4 business cards and then write out your pre-approach on it. It's taking a little while to open up. Oh, here it is. So yeah, just taking sorry, trying to slide it around, and it is tough I can't maneuver it, but you can kind of see right here, it's got a space for a business card and then all your pre-approach on that business so that you can quickly, roll back through that. And when you go back and call on them a week or 2 later, oh, okay, the admin's name is Judy, and you can walk in and call Judy by her name. Judy will like you more if you call her by her name than if you just avoid saying her name at all. Okay, reminding who's the decision maker that you're trying to get in front of, the best time to catch up with them, what kind of health insurance, if any, or other benefits do they offer, how many employees do they have, what type of business is it, when's the appointment scheduled if there is one. So just a great tool, guys, to use to stay organized. Okay, because if you're going back into a place 2 weeks later, you don't have any of this information, all you're doing is going back and cold calling a second time. That's not very effective. You've been in there before. Get that pre-approach while you're in there, and then use it when you go back in there. Okay. Number 18, coming down the home stretch here, guys. Number 18, get referrals from everyone you speak with, whether they bought or not. Guys, we have poured thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours into training people how to get referrals, because it is the way to do this business. Okay. You want to have a long, fruitful, fun career, learn to referral sell and do it every single day. And managers, teach your agents how to do it. It's fun when agents stick around the business a long time and do really well. They do so when they get referrals. So do that with everyone. Number 19, invest 15 to 30 minutes every morning reading something positive and uplifting, your attitude food. Guys, it's so valuable that we eat the right things for our body to have nourishment, to look the way you want to look. Well, guys, our insides, our brains, our souls need attitude food. So, and that's our most important muscle of our body is our brain, is how we think. Whether we think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So feeding your brain something positive, so it's telling you consistently that you can, that's a good thing. I would really encourage you to do that every day. And guys, so uplifting in the morning, right before you go to battle, so to speak, head out to the field. Technical training, technical reading is a nighttime activity. Okay. So every night studying for 15 to 30 minutes, something technical. That could be your sales talk, your close, your responses. It could be a book. Tom Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Selling is a one that I read probably 20 years ago and have reviewed ever since. There's some great books out there. Matter of fact, Jennifer Foster, who was the #1 agent, I think 6 or 7 years in a row, wrote a book called The Manual to Success. Sounds very similar to our success manual, but The Manual to Success, and it's how to be successful at your family heritage business. Pretty good book. That would definitely qualify as technical material to read in the evening time. Last 5, guys. Number 21, use 5 to 10 names during every approach. Guys, I've been out there in the field and seen some of you guys are dropping a name or two, not hitting with it, and you're just moving right along, never connected with a name. Guys, if it's a referral, you can drop one name, and it's like you're hunting with a rifle. You get one shot, boom, one bullet hits your spot. Okay. When you don't have a referral, guys, you're duck hunting, right? You're shooting with a shotgun. You have buckshot, and that buckshot spreads out. That's why you got to drop 20, 25 names, because when that buckshot spreads out, you hope that one of those 25 pieces of buckshot hits your target, right? So again, rifle hunting is with it. When you have a referral, no referral, you're shooting with buckshot. So you got to drop a lot of names. So you hope that one of them connects in some way, shape, or form. So use a lot of names. Use 5 to 10 names during every approach. Okay. Use 10 plus names, and these should be from your names list in every presentation. You guys, again, I've been out there in the field recently and seen that some people are not carrying Families for Protection folders. Oh, I've got it in my iPad. It's nice if it's in your iPad, but if it's in your iPad, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, your prospect, they don't see the names. They don't help you make the sales if they don't see it. So take the time, don't be lazy, write your clients' names, or have them, when they buy, add their names and their profession and where they work and why they bought to your Families for Protection list, and then show that. Nothing helps close a sale more than having 6 or 7 of those folders spread out over a table, and they can see that you really do have 400 people in the area that have coverage with us. That's proof. People love proof. Last 3, number 23, listen to positive, instructional, uplifting material in your car. Guys, the workday is no time for NIPR. That is not the time to listen to political radio right now. That is poison. Okay. Keep it positive. We have so many wonderful MP3s. We have the sales talk. We have ways to get your head on straight. And there's so many other ones out there that you can subscribe to. But feed yourself positive material. Okay. If we're not consciously putting positive stuff in our brains, we're unconsciously allowing whatever happens to come on the radio to get to seep into our subconscious. Okay. And we don't want to leave that to chance. Okay. Number 24, before finishing a day, know exactly where you're starting tomorrow. Guys, I don't care if it's an appointment or not, but you decide that's the place I'm going to. That's the place I'm going to walk into at 7:30 tomorrow to be my first of my 2 or 3 owners that I meet before hopping on the 8 a.m. Zoom. Okay. Guys, be smart with your time. Remember, every minute that you're out there before 8 and every minute after 5:30, that's worth about 10 minutes between 8 and 5:30. Why? Because between 8 and 5:30, the gatekeeper's there trying to keep you from getting to the person that you want to meet. You can get in there before 8, after 5:30, the gatekeeper's gone. You walk right in and meet the person you want to meet and get so much set up getting out there and meeting 2 or 3 people before our Zoom or catching up with people after 5:30. Number 24, before finishing today, know exactly where you're starting tomorrow. Just mentioned that one. And then finally, use what you have access to, guys. Use it, okay? The fit trainings, the conference calls, the Zoom meetings, so many. I mean, the Protect One Family website, guys, the continual training MP3s that are in there. So many tools that we have available to us, guys. But remember, it's not what we have access to, it's what we use, okay? Same reason why I tell people to print up a copy of the success manual, because 75% of the people that tell me, oh, I've got a copy of it, it's in my iPad. I'll ask them 2 months in, how much have you read? Well, not really much yet, but I'm going to get to it. Well, out of sight, out of mind. Okay. Spend the $12, print up a copy, physically see it, in sight, in mind. It'll go a long way. Once you've finished that success manual, then you got the B2B success manual to tackle, right? Because we all sell B2B. Makes sense to tackle that one too. And then a lot of you guys have attended the 101 and the 201 training. Then there is the leadership manual. So guys, instructions are there on how to do it. It's just a matter of using those tools that we have available to us. So guys, take a moment and tally up your score if you could. You got a score of 0 to 4 on 25 different items. Okay. What's your score? I'm not going to call on people, but if you guys just want to, anyone that gets a score, if you just want to yell out your number, we won't judge.
57.
57. Okay.
47.
47. All right. Anyone else? Thank you guys for sharing that did. Okay. Well, guys, 57 and 47. I think we would agree those are two grades that, in the 60s is a D, below that is a failing grade. So guys, here's the deal. There's nothing more frustrating than not getting the results that you want, not being really good at something, and having no idea how to improve. Oh, I'm just terrible at this. But there's no way to get better. Guys, you're holding exactly what you need to do, what you need to focus on to get better. Okay. If you had 2 or 3 very, very controllable items that you checked, I put a 0, I just don't do them. Guys, your past doesn't have to equal your future. You can make a decision right now today that you're going to do it and do it. If you forget things, then that's okay. Smartphones are designed for people that forget. They remind us. Just put a little alarm in your phone. If it's something that says ask for referrals, put an alarm that goes off in your phone once every hour for the 9 hours a day that you work. And it's constantly, oh yeah, I need to get referrals. If you need to put an R on your hand to remind you to recruit and to get referrals, then do it. But you right now have the prescription. You've been to the doctor's office. You've told them that you're sick. Okay. And the doctor has run some tests. We just ran a few tests today. And now in your hand, you have the prescription to go to the drugstore and get what will make you well again. Okay. We're actually performing CPR on you guys right now, just like we do in the field with salespeople, with our prospects. Sorry. So guys, now you have the prescription. Now the question is, do you take the prescription and do you just fold it in half and put it in the drawer and not go to the drugstore and get the medicine that's going to make you better? You just tough it out and do it the hard way and maybe deal with pneumonia for 6 months instead of just a few more days? Or do you go to the drugstore with it, get the prescription, take it 3 times a day, spaced out over 4 to 6 hours, like it says on there, and get better? Guys, you get to decide that. So that's the great thing about this business is, guys, is everything hinges on one of 3 things. It's our habits, it's our skill level, or it's our attitude towards that activity that determines how successful or unsuccessful we are. We get to make that decision. I want to challenge you guys to make a good decision on that. Now, guys, last thing, call to action here, please, if you could. And we're going to come back to the other tool I shared next week. But for right now, I want you to write today's date on the top right-hand corner. Actually, I don't care what corner you write it in. Just write it on there, though. Today's date is October 21st, so 10/21/20. Okay. Also, please put your name on it as well. Put your name and the date, and I want you to take a picture of it. Again, ideally, you use something like Cam or Turbo Scan, so it gives you a good picture. But just take the picture, text it to your team leader. I know Kyle and I would love to be accountability partners with you. If you'll have us, you can send it to us. But get some accountability with that and work on those 1 or 2 or 3 things that are going to get you your best return on your investment of your time. No one's going to change 25 things. Okay, guys, pick 2, 3 at the most, and we'll focus on those 2 or 3 things for about 2 to 3 weeks until it becomes a habit. And then we'll tackle the next 1 or 2 things that need to be addressed to get you your best return on your investment. And if you're not sure which one to tackle first, that's what we're for, guys. Ask us. we'll give you some feedback on that, and we'll work with you to create a plan to fix that. So guys, thank you so much for being on today. I mean, is anybody on here in the past that's, I know we've done this before. If any of the leaders that have been around for a while want to attest to maybe doing this exercise and having some of their results improve as a result, would love to hear from one or two of you real quick as we wrap up.
Van and Zach, we use this pretty often in our office. In fact, we just did it a couple weeks ago. But just realizing that if you change your score from a 1 or a 2 or a 2 or a 3 over a 13-week period, that is a huge correction. And, as simple as just following a demo goal card and now watching Liam do it, who is religious about it. And it's no surprising that he's squeezing in more demos than usual.
Yep, absolutely. On track for President's Club, and his numbers that were already pretty decent have definitely gone up. So awesome. Thanks for that, Zach. Anybody else? Well, Zach, thank you for sharing that. And you guys, again, just get some accountability. Take account of where you are right now, guys, because again, where you are doesn't have to be where you're going. Life's not about where you are. Life is about where you're going. So make sure you're going in a place in the direction that you want to be and heading in the right with the right trajectory. So thanks, guys, for being on today. Appreciate each and every one of you. Fired up to be back and in action. And here's to a great Wednesday. And remember, guys, we've got a great incentive going on this week that when you run your business like a business, okay, just run your business like a business, then by putting in 8 hours and 6 demos, then you will have a bonus of I believe it's $150 for a builder's week, which some of you guys have already achieved, and that doubles to $300 when you get to a green out this week. So step one, guys, is put in the controllable activity. Get the 8+ hours, get the 6+ demos. That'll lead to the sales. You win. Everybody's happy. We live happily ever after. Thanks for being on, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day.